Hello and welcome back to my first and probably last mini lecture. My name is Nicole Romero, and today we are going to be discussing an article that caught my eye, and it's a mouthful, but it is titled New Insights into the Impacts of Dehydration on Blood Flow and Metabolism During Exercise. So, living in Florida, we are no strangers to heat. Whether it's a full-blown workout outdoors or just a simple walk from your car to the store, we frequently find ourselves sweating very easily. And because of this, it's no surprise that hydration is greatly emphasized within our state. Throughout the course, we've learned about the body's physiological responses to heat, the oxygen demand of our muscles, and the cardiovascular system. A lot of the information from those chapters I found correlated perfectly with this article, so I'm excited to talk about it. The article puts together three stressors, and they are dehydration, hyperthermia, and strenuous whole body exercise. These stressors had an immense impact on the blood flow to the brain, legs, and heart. And I'll be talking about those three areas. I'll be talking about those three areas in three separate segments just so it's easier to digest. So, while you're here, grab your water and buckle in. One of the areas affected is the heart. Cardiovascular efficiency, y'all, super crucial, more so during physical activity. This system functions to match the amount of oxygen being delivered with the amount of oxygen being demanded by your muscles. So the authors in this article found that there was a reduction in stroke volume and an increase in heart rate, both of these occurring due to a reduction in blood volume, which we'll get on with later. But for now, you have your heart beating a lot more times per minute, and then you also have your heart not being able to deliver an adequate amount of blood to your muscles. When you put those two together, it creates reduced blood flow, which leads us to the second area affected, being our limbs. Now brace yourselves. That decrease in stroke volume and cardiac output led to reduced limb blood flow by exactly 2 liters per minute. This is a drastic response, and it was also the biggest contributor to exhaustion and fatigue. In any sport that you're involved with, you want to delay fatigue and exhaustion for about as long as possible because you want to be able to perform at your best capacity. And it's crazy to think that just by making sure to match your fluid intake with the fluid loss that you're going to experience during that activity, you can completely avoid running into any performance issues from dehydration. The third area that also experiences reduced blood flow is the brain. The authors wrote that during exercise at an intensity 60% above the subject's VO2 max, a drop in cerebral blood flow was experienced. Now, this wasn't too surprising because a few weeks ago in lecture, we learned that during exercise, blood flow is prioritized mainly to the muscles that are being used, 70% to be exact. And only about 3 to 4% of the blood is being directed to the brain. So when you exercise for an extended amount of time, you can start to experience brain fog. But now that we have the added stressors of dehydration and hyperthermia, the brain is going to be getting an even lower amount of blood than it normally would. So this is going to increase your chances of getting brain fog, and it's also going to increase the intensity at which you feel that brain fog. In summary, limb, cerebral, and cardiovascular blood flow all experience reductions that greatly hinder performance. Now onto a slightly different topic. I think it's important to acknowledge something that we all know, and it's that the body's physiological response to exercising in the heat is to sweat. Now, sweating allows for the increased core temperature of our bodies to move back down to a normal level at around 98 degrees Fahrenheit. Water makes up for 90% of the plasma that's in our blood. So when we sweat, we lose water, which is why there's a decrease in blood volume. And that key change explains why there's those reductions in stroke volume and cardiac output that further reduce the blood flow to the areas of the body that I mentioned way earlier in this video. Overall, our bodies are great at adapting to external changes. However, it can only handle so much at once. The article emphasized that most of the responses that were detrimental to performance, such as suppressed tissue metabolism and reduced lymph blood flow, only occurred due to the presence of all three stressors on the body at one time. I love this point because I can share it with those people that don't view water intake as important or crucial to the body. They'll feel fine at rest, sure, but if you get them exercising outdoors for a while, they'll quickly understand and experience the cost of not staying hydrated. So in conclusion, just drink your water.